Hello and welcome back to Let's Talk Live with, of course, Mert and myself, Cedric. And of course, Ilian, our cameraman, is here as well. And today we want to talk about the topic gaming. And we're going to quickly talk about our experience with gaming and what we basically played on, how we started off, how we're currently doing. We want to also talk about the history and the industry of gaming. Also walk over VR and the changes overall in the market. And we're also going to talk about Leeuwarden and how the gaming community is here and what can be found here.
So as Cedric said, we're going to cover a lot of ground here with gaming, and also share some of our own experience and our own gaming history, basically, which is also the beginning. I'm gaming since 21 years now.
That's a lot.
And I started with a Super Nintendo or Nintendo 64. I don't know.
Okay, yeah.
Like really old school. I had like one of those cassettes, but cartridges, whatever, which you had to put in the let's say Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
And it had like a lot of different games on it, and that's what basically got me into gaming. What was your first experience?
Yeah, I think it was similar. I also had a Game Boy. I think so. I had a Game Boy, not a Nintendo. I had a Game Boy. That was, I think, the first thing. I also remember like with the cassettes with the games where you have to like put them into the back thing, and always if they didn't work, you just blew into them. It's like I remember seeing this all the time. It's like having that, and then I had like a couple of friends, and we always like bought like the games together, and then we had like this big lunchbox we just completely filled with these little things, and we carried them around, and we also went somewhere, and then you also always had to figure out which one is which. You have to always like look at the picture and then put it in and then play. But it's hilarious.
Yeah, I also remember those times with the Game Boy, and and like the struggles with the batteries.
Oh my god, batteries were the worst back then.
And you didn't had like save games, right? So I remember when I was playing Pokemon.
No.
And it was, I'm not sure if it was like the last Final Four or top 4 or whatever, but I had to go buy something from the supermarket and I couldn't save. And I was like in the middle of it, so I just took my Game Boy with me. And I was playing. Because there was no other way. And then sometimes
what was your next one? What was your next console that you had after that?
I switched to the PlayStation 1, but it wasn't like the original PlayStation 1. It was kind of the new version, you know, like how they did with the PS4.
Oh yeah, the Slim and stuff. So it was a new addition to
kind of. It looked a bit different, but it was PlayStation 1, which I kept for a long time, which I still have.
Oh, that's cool.
It's still working. And there, I think my first game was like Tony Hawk's Pro Skater.
Yeah.
Like the first one, which also got a remake.
Yeah, remaster.
Like last year, I think. The first and the second one.
That's cool.
Which were pretty cool, yeah.
I think I directly switched to the Wii, to be honest. I think I got a Wii as for a Christmas present.
Yeah.
And then my sister and I, we played a lot. Well, at the beginning, we didn't have that many games. And then because since we still lived in China at the time, my dad went to this electronic store. It's like black market electronic store, and just came back with like a memory-based thing with like 1 terabyte of games on there. And then we just went on. We had like everything from Resident Evil completely through Mario Party, whatever. So we were like sitting there mostly for like 15 minutes or 20 minutes to decide on what game to play.
Yeah.
But I loved the Wii. I loved that you could like do this with the controller and stuff, be like active and stuff, like played. Wii Sports Resort and stuff was so fun. With the golfing and everything, the tennis and boxing or whatever.
Bowling.
So cool.
I also tried that.
I think that was like for me the most fun to play when you were like with another person at your place, like instead of like playing split screen anything, like doing that because you had like one kind of screen, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So that was my favorite type of split screen playing with when you still were very active. You could like push your friend out of the
Yeah.
camera frame and stuff and hinder him by that. It was hilarious. Yeah. So you also had a Wii as well.
No, I didn't have a Wii. I was not really into Nintendo, like not really not into Nintendo, but I just didn't really play Nintendo games.
Yeah. Okay.
I was pretty much more a Sony guy, PlayStation guy.
Yeah.
However, for the third generation, for PlayStation 3 and
Yeah.
the Xbox 360, I went for the Xbox 360 because it was just performing better.
Yeah, I did the other way around. So my first PlayStation that I had was PlayStation 3, and I think I didn't go for Xbox mainly because a friend of mine had one and the other guy had a PS3, but I liked the controller more. Although everyone said that the Xbox controller was way better. And looking back at it now, if I touch a PS3 controller now, it feels like a piece of junk in my hands.
It's weird,
horrible.
because it's just smaller and
really plasticky, really light. There's
really
nothing
light,
in there at all. Yeah.
I recently visited a friend who has a PlayStation 5.
Okay.
And the controllers they feel like a mix between the PS4 controllers and the Xbox 360 controllers.
Which is perfect, probably.
So yeah, they're not too big and not too small, and they just have a perfect fit. And the funny thing is they have those new trigger systems.
Yeah.
So you have a resistance. For example, when you play a shooter, and when you would shoot a gun, you don't just pull the trigger and it's like nothing.
Yeah.
But you have like resistance which you have to push in.
Okay, that's cool.
And you also have that on the trigger of the controller. So if you can pretty much pre-trigger without triggering, but these controllers it's difficult. There's not that much of resistance, but it's like the first step is like you can push it in easily, and then there's a resistance, and then you have to pull it.
Yeah.
And it gives you a different kind of feeling and different control.
But you could probably also change it, right? In the settings, you can probably change the.
I think
the way you can
change it, and it's not for every game.
Okay, yeah.
So it's for shooters, basically.
I heard that for basketball, for instance, for NBA 2K, I'm not sure the upcoming one. I think for PS5, they actually want to implement that when you are a person and you are running, because running are almost most of the time the lower triggers.
Yeah.
So R2 or L2, and they get harder to press the more exhausted your player is, which is really cool.
Yeah,
so
you have to put more effort into it.
More effort into pressing it because the guy is exhausted. I think that's really cool. I think this makes it like a bit more. I would say maybe like a bit more into the realistic type that you're actually that you feel like you're actually like in the game kind of thing. The feeling, in-game feeling. But yeah. So you said that you bought the Xbox 56 instead of the PS3, right? But then why did you then decide to get the PS4 instead of the Xbox One that came out? Was there like a certain reasoning behind it?
Because the PS4 was better than the Xbox One.
So you based it on performance, okay?
Pretty much, yeah. And also, of course, there's the influence of like your friends.
Yeah.
If there's already a trend going on, and that's also a bit the sad part because you can't really play games between Xbox and the PlayStation.
Yeah, you didn't have the cross-console feature yet that they have now, or they offered in a few games. In
a few games, I mean, it comes like in Warzone, I think.
You can do it in Fortnite. I think you can also do it
in Fortnite. In Rocket League, you can do it. It's cross-platforms.
Might be probably also other games as well.
There are things like I think Fall Guys as well. But when it was time for the new generation, there was no option for cross-platform gaming. So there was, of course, an influence. So if the majority of your friends you would play with go for the PlayStation, then I mean, you can still go for the Xbox, but it's difficult,
Yeah, for me, it was also time that like most of my friends, we always played on PS4 or PS3. So that's why I didn't change them, because everyone was always, also all my friends, we were always playing with PS3, and no one was thinking about getting an Xbox instead. So since we always wanted to play together and stuff, I played a lot of Call of Duty at the time. And there were zombies most of the time, and we always like had these little LAN parties at guys' place, and you couldn't do that with the Xbox, so you always had to like because we also had a friend who played on the Xbox, so he always then had to like split screen with someone, and that wasn't that cool because you wanted to have your own thing.
That's true, yeah.
Did you have any LAN parties when you were growing up? Did you do that, or were you more of the type to do it online?
We kind of did. It was more like just friends coming together and playing games. So it wasn't like a LAN party, but
You didn't bring
just like
your own TV and stuff.
no.
Oh my god, I remember doing that. So hilarious.
But lately, what I've been doing, which is actually pretty funny, when I go back to Germany and I visit my friend, then I actually take my PlayStation and everything with me, and so we kind of have a LAN party, even though we play through the internet together.
Yeah.
So that's what I was also wanted to say. Like earlier, you had those co-op games and those split-screen games, and also a lot of co-op games which shared the same screen. Like you
with
said,
Mario
so it
Party and stuff like
for
that.
example,
instance,
and now it gets like really difficult to have that. They're like, especially when we talk about Mario Party, I don't really know if there's like a party game at the same level, which could not replace, but which could you consider as an equal to the Mario Party, for the Xbox or for the PlayStation?
I think there's this thing called Little Big Planet. I'm not 100% sure if that's the thing, but I think it's very similar to that.
Yeah, I played that. Yeah, no, it's not really similar to Mario Party.
But I meant like with the
you share one screen exactly. Yeah, you share one screen, and true. That's actually a cool game, but it's not like a really party game. But I mean, there is some change, especially through the change of technology. You also mentioned like games have been more realistic with like you have to put more effort into it, and that's also what I like. And for me, it started with like iToy.
Okay.
For the PlayStation 2, and it was like this camera, and you could use your body to play games and had to wink at stuff, or just you could box and you actually had to punch like in the air. It looked just super stupid, and especially when you sit on the side, for example, it was actually fun to watch, and you don't see the screen, and you just watch the person
just fucking
doing random stuff.
Weirdest stuff ever.
It's really funny. But now VR, like virtual reality and augmented reality, is a big thing, which also I think attracts a different kind of audience, different kind of gamer. Gaming becomes more active through that way.
For me personally, who was a big fan of like horror games and stuff, I think these are like even better now because it feels way different if you're in a virtual reality world instead of like sitting in front of a TV or like a PC, for instance. And so I think personally never tried out VR. I think I almost had the chance once because I went to this tower in Shanghai.
Yeah.
And they have like this where you can basically stand on like, and it looks like you were looking down the thing, and you're like walking on like a wooden plank kind of. So you can do that kind of.
It was virtual reality.
Yeah, so he had like his headset on, his glasses on. I mean, then it felt, and you usually basically saw down. You looked down, and it basically looked like you were on the edge of the tower from the height.
Did you do it?
No, I didn't, because the line was really long. But I saw some people doing it, and they were screaming and like
I've seen some videos like that, and it's actually pretty funny because like the people, they really move like they're walking on this.
Although they are not, they're just walking on this.
They're just walking on the. They have way more space, and some of them just fall to the ground, and they just, like you said, really scream and think they're dying. And horror games you mentioned, I think that's a really cool thing in combination with virtual reality. I watched on YouTube a video from a guy playing Paranormal Activity, I think.
Yeah.
Or something similar, like a horror game in virtual reality. And it gives, I mean, even just watching it gives you a different feeling because, well, you turn as he turns, and it makes it kind of more real. It gives you this different feeling, this different setting, because I mean, you can play horror games in the dark on a screen, but actually being in there is
whole different scenario, whole different
scenario. But coming back to having more active games, I think that's a good thing, because especially with Corona times now.
Yeah, that, and also like the overall that so many people are playing, are gamers now, because I think if you would compare it to when it started off, like I'd say like 2006 or like 2007, and then compare that to now, I think the range of like people like started gaming, I think, is way bigger now. And
Definitely.
and due to the fact that you have these many opportunities with new development games and stuff, I think it's like way easier to just be stuck at home.
Mm-hmm.
And I think then games such as, like, for instance, Pokemon Go phone game that went out where so many people went outside, which
Yeah.
was amazing. Like, how many people were in parks at the time, and you can really see like, wow, how what big of
Yeah.
a difference such things does.
Yeah, I think it's funny because it tricks your mind. You know, you with Pokemon Go, for example, you think you're just playing a game
Yeah.
and you're being active without realizing it. Actually, you know, because you have to walk around or just move outside
They
somehow.
even have like this head count, right, where you have to like walk certain different, so like these eggs could hatch. I think that was the
Exactly,
one.
yeah.
So there's also like have like the developers also had the intent for people to walk, not only to sit somewhere in like in a park where there's like a special spot, but also walk
Yeah.
around, find these Pokemon. And I think it's also like a very for the history of Pokemon, just because so many people love the game and also love the card game and stuff.
Yeah.
I think it's
I mean,
new
it makes
different
the
level.
it makes the game also a bit more real
In that sort of sense,
with
yeah.
using like
You're using the camera
virtual
to catch
reality
the,
or
exactly.
augmented reality. I'm
You
not
use the
sure.
camera to throw the to catch the things,
Exactly.
and they looked like they were standing in front of you, kind of on the street. So it's definitely really cool.
And yeah, and also there are like new games coming up for I don't know how all those virtual reality things are called. Like what is it, like the Oculus Rift?
Yeah.
Or
But they all mainly placed on PC, right? So I think you always have to have like, at least for some of them, I
I'm
think.
not sure. I don't know. I'm not that into virtual reality right now because it is still such a big market. But what I mean is they are developing like games, like sports games, which
Oh, okay.
which make you be active and
Yeah.
even at home. And I recently also read an article that virtual reality is also being used in therapy.
Okay.
So they develop games for example, elderly people, just like memory games or different kind of stuff, you know, just to train their cognitive abilities. Or
and then you don't have to have another person there, kind of, right? As long as the person knows how it works, you don't need someone. Because for me, for instance, talking about like older people, for instance, my mom always tells me to go, if I go to my grandma, that I should like play some games like this, or like so that she keeps up on your head. And if she would be able to understand how it works, she might actually do that at home alone when I'm not there.
Yeah,
kind of, right?
and
So
it gives you
also a cool
different
thing.
possibilities. And also so it's being used for as a therapy, also for people who have like PTSD.
Yeah.
Or how is it called when you are like really scared of things?
Phobias?
Yeah. So it's actually really interesting how these kind of things also can be useful for like psychological treatments.
Yeah. I think the more realistic a game is, the more better is you can implement it in like actual like society, kind of, right?
Yeah.
I think that is a big thing. Yeah. Also another thing with like is going borders between industry. I heard a interesting talk about how fashion is involved in gaming as well. Because as you know from a lot of people, that they pay real money to get like cool like features in the game, not only like having new maps, but also like looking cooler, having cool clothes
like
on and
skins
stuff.
and
Exactly.
clothing
And
just for the
so
appearance.
yeah, and so this is a podcast. I think it was a podcast episode of the Business of Fashion, which is a podcast that like focuses on fashion. And it was really interesting because this guy who was a very big developer, he was talking about that actually like brands like Gucci, like high luxury brands like Gucci, Louis Vuitton, which have like a big standpoint in fashion overall.
Yeah.
Might actually be a cool thing to implement that into the gaming world as well, because nowadays if you spend more time playing, you have this avatar.
Okay.
And so you basically want to, with this avatar, you can basically already also have like certain positions in the social structure, if you know what I mean. So if you maybe like, okay, I'm not that fit maybe, but I'm like the coolest guy on the gaming platform on this game or whatever. So I think that's also like a big thing where it might be that actually people just pay for clothes. They could buy it for real, but they could also buy them in the game for the same amount of price. But you rather do it there because it fits to that person better than it to you.
Yeah, true.
So
yeah, I also think I didn't really hear about fashion, but it's really interesting. But it seems to be like a trend nowadays for companies who are not necessarily connected to like the gaming industry to advertise or push merchandise for their brand. It's funny because a couple days ago I played some Rocket League, and apparently a new season started, and they introduced like Formula One cars.
Okay.
And I mean, of course, there are like Formula One games which you can play on PC or the PlayStation or whatever. But I mean, the Formula One is not a gaming brand.
And of course, no.
You know, so you can say it's like an external company pushing their product, pushing their, just advertising their brand basically.
Yeah.
And the same also goes for Fortnite.
Yeah, they also have T-shirts, like a merch store as well and stuff like this, right? So I think that's also what they combine, right? So that you can buy like clothes outside the thing, or you can buy like these sort of like drinks that you can also drink in game and stuff like this.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. And for Fortnite, I mean, there have been, not that I'm playing Fortnite, but
Not that I'm playing.
but no, but I'm following like a lot of gaming channels and gaming stuff. So I saw they introduced like Batman skins, or I think it was the most recent one was like Terminator or stuff.
Yeah, they added Rambo in Warzone as well. Rambo and the.
Yes, I also just saw it, and it's really interesting, and it's a new kind of approach to advertise your stuff and
Definitely, but also keep like the history going as well, because these are really old movies, and they just then coming up now. It's like maybe being like a more term for the younger generation which never like watched them directly or stuff like this. But yeah, like we also quickly want to talk about the gaming situation in Leeuwarden. It's actually here. So they have this esports team in our university, which is called Northern
Lions Esports. Yeah, it's actually more teams. So it's not just one team. It's like a club.
Okay.
And they have actually a lot of teams.
Okay.
They have different kind of games. So let's see, League of Legends, Counter-Strike, Hearthstone, Fortnite, Overwatch, PUBG, Rocket League. Then they have the Northern Lions Motorsport, which seems like they're playing Formula One and some other racing games.
I think it's general motorsports. They can do general motorsports.
I guess, yeah. Brawlhalla, which is also pretty cool. It is like Super Smash Bros.
Yeah, I love that game on Wii.
But it's the non-Nintendo version, basically.
Okay. I think like Apex Legends, the new
Valorant,
thing,
Apex Legends. So they have a lot of different games, just a couple more. And in these games, they have, for some games, they have different teams, actually.
Okay.
So it seems to be really a big
community
big club with a lot of members. And it's, like you said, here in Leeuwarden.
Yeah, you have the possibility to, for a certain fee, a monthly fee, you have the opportunity to go into uni and play these games on PCs that they basically give you, right? At least that's what I heard. That they have some. I read that they had like there's some PCs in the universities which you could use.
Yes. So it's like 15 euros a month, and so you can become a member.
Yeah.
But you also get the possibility to have access to those gaming computers, so you don't really have to have your own gaming equipment. You just basically rent one, or just pay a little amount of money to use it and join this club, the teams, the different teams.
They also do tournaments as well. At least one of our friends, he's very active in the thing. And
they do tournaments, and they are also in this college league. I'm not quite sure how it's called, but it's like
college league. Gaming, or is it
gaming, like a Dutch gaming college league. So you know how they have these college leagues in America with like football or basketball. So they have the same stuff here, Dutch gaming league, college league, whatever.
Yeah.
And they also participate in that. So for the people who are interested and would like to join an esports team, maybe they can take a look at that. There's also the website, Northern Lions Esports.nl.
Yeah.
There's also a lot of information there, and how to sign up, and the different teams and the games. So
probably also have something like on social media, like some videos or some footage from there on tournaments or something like that. Yeah, that was it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll talk about other industries in the following episodes as well.
Yeah, hope you guys have fun listening, and
talk to you soon.